Have you ever felt vulnerable for sharing something that you should have kept to yourself? Have you noticed how, by revealing too much, you end up exposing weaknesses that can be used against you? The world around us is full of traps, opinions, expectations, and judgments that can undermine our inner strength. When you open up too much, you lose control over what others do with your words, and this exposure can become a weapon against you. And that's exactly why the Stoics, men known for their strength and wisdom, never reveal everything. They understand that true freedom comes from keeping certain parts of themselves out of the public eye. Contrary to what the modern world teaches us, that we should share every detail of our lives, the Stoics knew that by keeping their secrets, their fears and their vulnerabilities, they were protecting their true essence. They avoided external pressure and, more importantly, prevented their weaknesses from being used against them. Now, stop and think. How many times have you given yourself to someone, shared your dreams or insecurities, only to see them used against you? The fear of being manipulated, judged, or weakened is real. What you haven't realized yet is that the key to protecting your integrity and gaining true inner strength is not to reveal everything. Don't leave your vulnerabilities out in the open. Don't expose your innermost plans. Keeping a low profile is one of the most powerful strategies for preventing the world from exploiting your weaknesses. In this video, you will discover the 10 secrets that Stoics never reveal. Secrets that can protect you from a world that is always ready to take advantage of your exposure. Are you ready to learn the true art of maintaining control and protecting yourself from external traps? What follows will change the way you approach your life. Shall we get started? Let's move on to today's topic. But first, make sure you're already subscribed, because the next videos will help you become your best self. The power of silence. The Stoics understood silence as a form of power, a valuable tool for preserving one's dignity and avoiding unnecessary consequences. Nowadays, we are constantly bombarded with expectations to share everything around us, from our thoughts to our feelings. However, the Stoics knew that revealing too much can open doors to vulnerability. Speaking unnecessarily or exposing information without reflection puts us at risk. A man's word is often what defines him, and by speaking carelessly, he can end up losing control over what should be private. This understanding of silence goes beyond the mere absence of sound. It is an active practice of self-control, a decision not to expose oneself to what is not necessary. Seneca, one of the greatest Stoic thinkers, said, "Silence is a shield against recklessness." When we are silent, we are able to reflect and filter what is really important, away from external distractions and judgments. Silence allows us to protect our essence, preserving intimacy and autonomy. In a world that encourages constant communication, remaining silent may seem unusual or even wrong, but the Stoics taught that by being silent we empower ourselves. Silence gives us the space to be more selective with what we decide to share and with whom we choose to confide. It is a reflection of internal control, of a person who understands the power of their privacy. By not revealing everything, the Stoic man becomes more upright, stronger, and less vulnerable to external challenges. For this reason, silence is not just the absence of words, but a conscious strategy for maintaining one's own peace. Personal battles. Everyone faces internal battles, those silent conflicts that shape our personal journey. For the Stoics, these struggles are profoundly transformative, but they must be faced in the realm of introspection, away from public view. We live in an age where everyone is willing to share their difficulties and weaknesses, especially on social media. However, the Stoics believe that there is no greater strength than the resilience forged in silent battles. True victory comes not when we expose our struggles, but when we overcome them in silence, without the need for external validation. Imagine if the whole world knew about every little battle you face, every doubt or failure. This creates an endless cycle of seeking approval, rather than true growth. Instead, the Stoics suggested that each challenge be a personal journey, an internal struggle where the only approval you need is your own. They saw adversity as a means of evolution, not something to be shared or used as an excuse. There is immense power in turning our battles into something private, something that only we can understand and control. Social networks and the culture of immediate sharing try to convince us that we need to open up our lives to others. But the Stoics teach us to look for true strength in our ability to face what is difficult in silence, without having to show the world every step. When we keep our internal battles to ourselves, we have the space we need to learn, grow, and ultimately achieve inner peace. Silence, in this context, becomes a powerful source of self-reliance, allowing the most important victories to happen without anyone needing to know. Self-doubt is a natural part of anyone's life. All of us, at some point, question our abilities, our choices, or even our worth. But for Stoics, insecurities should be dealt with privately, away from prying eyes or outside criticism. Revealing our doubts can be an invitation for others to take advantage of our weaknesses, rather than a way of overcoming them. The Stoics believe that by exposing our insecurities, we create external noise that only hinders the process of self-knowledge. True clarity comes when we give ourselves time to reflect internally on what ails us, without seeking approval or consolation from others. Imagine how difficult it would be to make important decisions in life if you were always seeking validation from those around you. The Stoics teach us that by dealing with our doubts internally, we gain control over them. Instead of being consumed by negative thoughts, we are able to analyze our insecurities with logic and reason. This doesn't mean ignoring our feelings, but rather facing them in a more objective and less emotional way. Epictetus, one of the great masters of Stoicism, said that it is not things that disturb us, but our opinion of them. By doubting ourselves, we are often attributing a negative meaning to situations that could just be challenges to be overcome. True growth comes from understanding that doubt is a normal component of the learning process, and that it should be treated as an opportunity for self-discovery. By not oversharing our insecurities, we cultivate an inner strength that allows us to overcome difficulties with greater clarity and self-confidence. So, had you heard about it? Did you know it existed? Let me know in the comments if you've experienced it or if you know the story of someone who has. I'll help you in the comments. Future plans. The Stoics understood the importance of keeping their future plans secret as a way of protecting their aspirations and reducing external pressure. Talking about what we want to achieve can generate a lot of unnecessary expectations. Ambition, no matter how noble, when exposed to the public, is subject to criticism, judgments, and often failures that can destabilize our steps. By keeping our intentions silent, we preserve the power of silent action, that which comes about without external pressure, only through personal effort and constant dedication. Napoleon Bonaparte is a classic example of someone who, by showing off his plans too much, ended up in disgrace. His meteoric rise and grandiose strategies were widely publicized, making him vulnerable to attack and creating a fertile ground for his defeats. This historical lesson teaches us that while it's important to have clear goals, it's even wiser to keep them discreet until they've been fully achieved. Instead of spreading our intentions, we should work quietly to make them materialize, without being pressured or influenced by the gaze of others. The Stoics, like Marcus Aurelius, understood that action is more powerful than speech. A man who dedicates himself to his work, without seeking recognition at every turn, is more effective than one who lets himself be consumed by the desire for external validation. Keeping our future plans secret doesn't mean we should hide them out of fear, but rather protect them from outside interference. This gives us the freedom to focus on what really matters, the execution of our actions. When we talk too much, we run the risk of turning our intentions into someone else's expectations, losing autonomy over our own achievements. Challenges and growth. Life is full of challenges, and true growth comes when we are able to face them with courage and resilience. But for the Stoics, these challenges are not moments to show off or seek recognition. They believe that true progress happens when we move away from the need for external validation and face difficulties privately. When we accept challenges as an opportunity for personal growth, our evolution becomes deeper and truer. A great example of this can be found in Alexander the Great. His journey to conquer vast empires was marked by immense challenges, but he faced them with unwavering determination. What makes Alexander's story fascinating is not just his conquest, but how he dealt with difficulties. He didn't seek approval with every victory, nor did he flaunt his victories to the world. Instead, he focused on constantly improving himself, seeking to overcome his own limits. For the Stoics, steps out of comfort zones should be an internal journey. Growing up doesn't mean boasting about every achievement, but rather dedicating yourself to what really matters. When we are driven by a genuine desire to overcome our own limitations, without seeking recognition, progress becomes more authentic and solid. Each challenge overcome is a private victory, a victory that doesn't need to be shared, but rather experienced personally. This constant search for growth is what defines true Stoic strength. It's not about beating others or showing off our victories. Personal growth happens in moments of introspection, when we understand that the greatest challenges are not external, but those we face within ourselves. Vulnerabilities. We all have vulnerabilities. They are part of the human condition, and recognizing them is an important step towards self-knowledge. However, the Stoics teach us to protect these fragilities rather than expose them to the world. The idea that we should be open about our weaknesses can be tempting, especially in a world where sharing our feelings seems to be a way of creating connection. However, the Stoics believe that this exposure could be an open door to exploitation, something that weakens our position. Abraham Lincoln, for example, was a leader who showed great strength in dealing with his own vulnerabilities. During his presidency, he faced a divided nation and deep personal crises. However, he knew how to maintain a dignified and firm posture without indulging in public fragility. Lincoln understood that by oversharing his weaknesses, he would give weapons to those who wished to overthrow him. Instead, he used his vulnerabilities as a form of internal reflection and personal growth, not as an exposure that could be used against him. True Stoic wisdom lies in understanding that our weaknesses can be powerful tools for self-discovery, as long as we treat them with respect and discretion. By hiding them from public judgment, we protect ourselves from external attacks and preserve our inner strength. The Stoics didn't believe in denying weaknesses, but in seeing them as opportunities to learn and evolve. By hiding our vulnerabilities, we have the chance to work on them, strengthening them without them becoming a point of exploitation by those who don't understand the true nature of our growth. Complaints. Life is full of situations that challenge us, but one attitude that the Stoics always preached was to avoid complaining. In today's world, we are constantly encouraged to express our frustrations, share our dissatisfactions on social media, and seek support from everyone around us. However, for the Stoics, this was seen as a form of weakness. By focusing on complaints instead of seeking solutions, we become prisoners of our own dissatisfaction. True power, according to the Stoics, lies in the ability to solve our problems internally, without needing an audience to validate our pain. It is important to understand that complaints, when expressed excessively, not only reveal our emotional fragility, but also place us in a position of dependency. By seeking solace in others, we are not cultivating our own strength, but making ourselves vulnerable to outside opinions. A clear example of this is the way the Stoics viewed life's difficulties. They believed that adversity was an opportunity to develop the virtues of patience, resilience, and self-control, rather than something that should simply be lamented. Take, for example, a great leader like Seneca. During his life, he went through many difficulties, including exile and personal loss. However, he never gave in to complaining. Instead, he reflected deeply on his adversities and used these experiences to grow internally. For the Stoics, complaining is a trap. By complaining, you distract yourself from the quest for self-mastery. They teach us that instead of verbalizing our complaints, we should seek action, cultivate reflection, and, above all, focus on our ability to overcome. Well, we're halfway through the content, and I've noticed that you haven't liked this video yet. This is very important so that YouTube continues to share our content with you, and so that we can continue to help you. So, leave your like there. It's free, right? Moving on. Selective sharing. We live in a world where sharing our personal lives has become a common habit. Social networks, casual conversations, and even meetings with friends can be an opportunity to let off steam and reveal aspects of our lives. However, the Stoics warn us about the importance of selective sharing. Not everything we think or feel should be exposed to the world. True wisdom lies in choosing carefully who should know our deepest thoughts and, more importantly, understanding that our integrity is preserved when we choose to keep certain things to ourselves. Many of us fall into the trap of wanting to be understood by everyone. The search for external validation can lead us to expose our ideas and feelings at inappropriate times. The Stoics, however, emphasize that we shouldn't share everything we have in mind, because not everyone has the capacity to understand or respect our intentions. When we share without discernment, we run the risk of jeopardizing our own autonomy and exposing ourselves to the judgment of others. In a world full of distractions and diverse opinions, it is essential to keep our inner voice strong and clear. The Stoics taught us to be selective, not only in what we share, but also with whom we choose to share it. An example of this is Marcus Aurelius, who, although he was emperor and was constantly surrounded by advisors and other public figures, was known for keeping his deepest thoughts and concerns within a very restricted circle. He knew that the key to his strength lay in his ability to reflect and act on his own wisdom, without relying on external validation. Silent strength. Modern society often confuses silence with weakness. We are used to associating strength with explosive attitudes, public displays of power, and the need to always be heard. However, the Stoics knew that there is a much more powerful kind of strength that is silent, discreet, and internal. For them, true strength does not come from the incessant search for attention or external validation, but from the ability to face challenges without making a fuss, to resist pressure without having to shout to the world how much we are struggling. Silent strength is a hallmark of great leaders and thinkers. Think of figures like Seneca himself, one of the most famous Stoics. Even at times of great adversity, such as when he was forced into exile by the Emperor Nero, he remained calm and dignified. Seneca did not seek sympathy or attention, but maintained his firm stance in the face of the storm. He believed that by maintaining silence and internal reflection, a person could cultivate immense strength, capable of overcoming any crisis without being shaken by external emotions or pressures. By valuing silence and introspection, the Stoics built resilience. They understood that, in times of adversity, true action does not come from shouting or sharing every thought with everyone around, but from the strength to carry on, to act wisely, without seeking recognition. The ability to be strong, without making a fuss, is what distinguishes those who truly master the art of life, as exemplified by the great Stoic leaders throughout history. The art of mystery. The Stoics understood that part of their strength came from their ability to conceal aspects of their lives. It wasn't about deception or manipulation, but about cultivating mystery as a tool of protection and power. In a world where everyone wants to be seen and recognized, Stoicism teaches us that true wisdom can be found in knowing when to stay silent, when to keep your motivations, fears, and plans to yourself. By creating an aura of mystery, the Stoics preserved their integrity and maintained a strategic advantage over others. For example, the Emperor Marcus Aurelius himself, one of the most emblematic figures of Stoicism, never publicly exposed his personal dilemmas or innermost thoughts. He preferred to write down his reflections in his private diaries, as if he were talking to himself. His meditations, the record of his ideas, were never made for the public, but for himself, a way of keeping himself centered and at peace. This behavior revealed great wisdom. By not divulging everything, he maintained a position of strength and protection. In essence, the art of mystery is a way of preserving dignity and preventing our essence from being revealed to everyone. It creates a distance between what others know and what we really are, which gives us control over our own image. The Stoics teach us that by keeping the unknown, we cultivate a strategic advantage, as well as preserving our inner freedom. Mystery is therefore a deliberate choice for those who seek to maintain their autonomy and walk with confidence. Now that you've discovered the 10 secrets the Stoics never reveal, it's time to reflect on the impact these principles can have on your life. Remember that by following the wisdom of the Stoics, you will become stronger, more centered, and, above all, more protected from external influences that try to undermine your confidence and your goals. True strength comes from the ability to maintain control over what is shared and, more importantly, what is not. By embracing silence, introspection, and discretion, you will become immune to the chaos of the world around you. Don't let yourself be manipulated or led astray. By putting these secrets into practice, you'll see how you can gradually transform your life into an unshakable fortress. The decision is now in your hands. Will you remain exposed and vulnerable, or will you adopt these secrets to protect your essence and achieve true peace of mind? The choice is yours. But remember, the strength of the Stoics has always been in their ability to remain silent, to keep their weaknesses and challenges away from the world's gaze, and to act wisely, even when no one was looking. If you're ready to put these teachings into practice, start now. Don't wait any longer. Control over your life is within your grasp, and only you have the power to make it a reality. Thank you for watching this far. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel to continue receiving the next content. Until the next video.